Waves back at it with another exclusive. We got to do a follow up to this whole Annabelle doll situation because when you examine the actual information, something is not making sense. And despite what they're telling us, despite what is being put out, there's some questions here. And we got a lot of things that we got to talk about. You see, they're saying one thing, but again, as we get down and we take a look at the actual real scenario, there's a lot of questions that need to be answered because something just does not sound right. Something is not adding up. It's just not adding up. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to give y'all a second to come in the building, and then we're going to get right to this. I tell you, this is literally wild. Like, it's literally wild. So one of the things that I want to do is I want to kind of show you that something here. We'll take a look at this particular website here. I'm going to go to several websites just so that you all can see this information. It's talked about out here. It's a lot going on, and it's not just a particular small matter. I'm just going to put it like that, okay? So let me get these here so y'all can see it. And some just doesn't add up with this story. Now, what we're going to do is, like I said, let me get this on the screen for y'all because we need to discover there's more that's going on, especially when you take a look at the particular story that I just got finished covering with the FBA couple, both mysteriously dying in a car crash back to back. Something's not making sense. This was in New Orleans and right when the Annabelle doll was being transported, and a lot's going on. So let's just take a look at this. All right, let's get this article on the screen here. I tell you, man. So what we're looking at here, this is from the New York Post. I want you to see this is a legitimate article. This was actually published yesterday, June the 1st. Today is June the 2nd. And what you see here is that it says, demonic Annabelle doll safely back in custody after claims it escaped and caused havoc in NOLA. Shouldn't have moved her. So let's go through the article because there's a lot, like I said, that's going through this, okay? It says the real-life Annabelle doll was blamed for a string of alarming incidents by conspiracy theorists. That's what they call us, conspiracy theorists, that claimed it escaped while on tour at New Orleans. But its owner confirmed it's safely back home and was never out of control. Now, here's where we got to stop and think. Right here, you're seeing a line that says its owner confirmed that it's safely back home and was never out of control. First of all, I want you to remember that they say it's safely back home, meaning that at some point in time, it actually left Hartford, Connecticut. It left the Ed and Lorraine Warren Museum back in Connecticut because the owner confirmed that it is safely back home, which means it left. I want y'all to remember that detail, okay? It goes on to say the diabolical and supposedly demonic Raggedy Ann doll, fictionalized in the Conjuring movie, made a pit stop at the Ghost City Tours office in the Big Easy in mid-May. So they said that the doll actually hit New Orleans in the Big Easy. But when you see something, there's going to be a conflict here with the information that they're giving us. So we're being told the doll was taken out on tour. It says the same week of a daring prison break and a devastating fire at a former plantation, the Nottoway plantation. Y'all know about the prison break with 10 prisoners that broke. But they said the timing led to speculation that the doll was behind the chaos. All right. And when we take a look, let me see if I can find this. Give me 1 second here. If we take a look at this here, let me share this real quick. If you take a look at this here, this actually shows Annabelle's tour. Like I said, Annabelle was supposed to have been left at the Warrens Museum in Connecticut. All right. But you can see back on May the 13th and 14th, Annabelle was in New Orleans, and then you had San Antonio, Texas, where Annabelle was there on May 17th to 18th, right behind it. And I guess apparently after that, they must have took it right back. I don't know, man. Anyway, it's crazy, but this is supposedly the tour. It's supposed to go to some other spots like Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, July 11th through the 13th, and then Rock Island, Illinois, October the 4th and 5th. That's the dates that they have here. Anyway, we're going to get into some videos in a minute because something just not adding up with this story. It's literally not adding up. And I know what they're saying, but again, it's not adding up. It's just not adding up to me. Maybe it's not adding up to you all, and it's not adding up to some other people. But anyway, let me jump back to the other particular story that we were reading with the New York Post, because I want to get all of this out before we get into the video content, okay? So for all of y'all here, like I said, there's a lot of video content that we're going to get into, but let's go ahead and get through this. So anyway, as you can see, this is the Annabelle doll, the actual real doll, which is a Raggedy Ann doll, and it says, warning, positively do not open. Okay, but anyway, they said the Annabelle doll is back in Connecticut after a brief tour. The Annabelle doll is back, which means that the Annabelle doll has left on tour. I want y'all to pay attention to this detail. I keep bringing this up for a reason, because we're going to get into some things in a minute. It's going to be some things that's going to lead to some confusion. Okay, the article goes on to say she's safely back. Please just disregard these other videos. It says, but she's safely back behind lock and key at the Warren Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut. Owner Tony Spira told the Post. The doll was taken on a brief tour to several locations to show the doll to enthusiasts of the paranormal, Spira said. So again, I want you to pay attention to a fact here. I'm repeating this for a reason. They said that the doll was taken on a brief tour to several locations to show the doll to enthusiasts before it was brought back, which means the doll did leave. I'm trying to establish this point for a reason, because as we progress forward, you're going to see some conflicting information. Now, they say that the doll here, let me see if I can get this to pop up. It says the doll was never out of our control. We take extreme precautions when handling or transporting the doll, which means the doll was moved. It says the precautions, which included having a Catholic priest traveling with Annabelle, apparently weren't enough for some observers who believe the doll's stint in New Orleans on May the 13th and 14th was a bad omen. An inferno destroyed the historic Nottoway Plantation House between Baton Rouge and New Orleans on May 15th, and the next day, 10 inmates escaped from the New Orleans Justice Center. Might I also add, somewhere between New Orleans and Baton Rouge is where you had the car accident of the FBA couple that I talked about, Miss Alexis Lee and Mr. John J.R. Collins. And I covered that story on my channel. You had this mysterious two-car crash. One that took place at 2 a.m. Mysteriously, Miss Alexis Lee was engaged to Mr. John J.R. Collins. She had her seatbelt off. She was unalive in her car. Mr. John J.R. Collins went to go see his fiancée, and on the way, he surprisingly didn't have a seatbelt on, and he also was unalive. And I broke down details to that on a previous live stream. Y'all can check that out. But anyway, it says that the Inferno destroyed the historic Nottoway Plantation House between Baton Rouge and New Orleans on May 15th, and the next day, 10 inmates escaped from New Orleans Justice Center. Most inmates have since been recaptured. It goes on to say, I did not think people were taking it seriously because I kept seeing jokes about it on Instagram and TikTok. Ghost City Tours founder Tim Nealon told USA Today. But I didn't realize people were out here like actually thinking this was legit. Okay. Um, he said some people are absolutely convinced Ghost City Tours is culpable in the prison break and fire. Why didn't you just leave her where she was at? One person asked the Ghost City Tours on their Facebook page. Did it cross your mind? Maybe she was there for a reason. Some things are better left alone. You shouldn't have moved her, another social media user chimed in. And then it says late husband and wife Ed and Lorraine Warren, the famous paranormal investigators, own Annabelle along with other haunted relics before their deaths. The museum, which isn't open to the public. Let me repeat, this museum isn't open to the public. It's in their former home. As you can see right here, these are all the inmates that escaped in New Orleans. They said most of them have been found or whatever. I guess they've been found. I don't know the updates to that, but I know most of them been found, if not all. But these are the inmates. Anyway, let's go on. Spira, the Warren son-in-law. So this is the Warren son-in-law. Okay, has carried on their work as leader of the New England Society for Psychic Research, and I guess that's the NESPER acronym that you hear. It says he said his email that one of his workers used less holy water and holy oil, which was mixed into the stain that was then applied to the wood case. Other religious fixtures, including crosses cut into each side of the case, were also affixed to the case for the tour. It says the doll is blessed by a Catholic priest before moving it while on tour and after it is returned to the museum, Spira said. On the tour, a Catholic priest, Father Bob, traveled with us the entire trip. The doll, which had been reportedly manipulated by a demon, was the basis of the very different looking doll of the same name in The Conjuring, its sequels, and Annabelle spin-off films. Okay, so this is what I want to show y'all. Okay, I want to switch gears real quick. Let me go back to, I got to establish all this up front, right? So I need y'all to pull up a chair and let's establish all this before we get into the videos. Because again, it's just some conflicting information that I'm seeing and it's just some things don't make sense. So this is why I'm trying to establish all of this. Okay, let's go to this particular page right here. Okay, let's take a look at this. Now, here we go. It says the Annabelle dolls tour across the country sparked theories that the famously haunted relic was responsible for chaotic events that followed. But Annabelle's keepers have rebuked the fiery claims in exclusive interviews with DailyMail.com. All right. So it says Annabelle, a famously haunted Raggedy Ann doll, started a tour earlier this month ahead of a psychic festival, making stops in West Virginia, Louisiana, and Texas. Now, those are confirmed stops. What's up, Waco? What's up, Marilyn Edwards? We kind of know about the doll's history with Ed and Lorraine back in 1970 in, Hartford. I kind of don't want to really go too much into that because I've already been into that. I just want to talk about what's going on. You have Ryan Buell, which is a paranormal investigator. He's the guy that's on the TV show Paranormal State. He also joined the tour and agreed that it was about education and continue to spread the word of Ed and Lorraine Warren. As you can see, this is the Annabelle doll. You're seeing this is what it really looks like. It's like 3 feet tall. That's why it's so big. That's how they did dolls back in the day. They made them more life-size. As we got to more of the recent times, dolls got a lot smaller. And now what you're finding is pretty much in 24, 25 or so, maybe the past 2 or 3 years, you're finding that dolls are becoming closer to life-like size again, or they're becoming bigger. Anyone that understands anything about dolls would be able to see that pattern. This is going back from 1970 all the way up to what we're talking about 2025 now. So again, this is the actual Annabelle doll here. You can see the Devil Tarot card right here. That's what that is. It's the devil tarot card to let you know this is the devil. This ain't just a doll. There's literally the devils attached to this doll. Okay. It says Annabelle just completed her tour across the U.S. with the New England Society for Psychic Research, making stops in West Virginia, Louisiana, and Texas. But what followed her were a series of unfortunate events that the public linked to the haunted doll. Remember, Anne Lorraine said to never move the doll, and yet it's been moved on tour. As you can see, this is Annabelle's tour. Started here in Connecticut. They had it here in the beginning of May in West Virginia and at the state penitentiary. Then they moved it. Let me scroll a little further down so y'all can see. Down here in New Orleans. Then they took it to San Antonio. And I guess right now, as they say, it's back in Connecticut before I assume they take it to Pennsylvania in July. And then I guess it's coming back to Connecticut. And then I guess they're going to take it back out to Rock Island, Illinois in October. That's what I'm assuming. I mean, I don't know the details, but if they're following the pattern that they did when they took it to New Orleans and actually San Antonio and West Virginia, then I guess they're going to bring the doll back in between. But anyway, so this is the guy, Ryan Beale. He's on Paranormal State on TV. And I guess this is Chris Gillerin, the lead investigator. He's joined the tour, the Annabelle tour, but they pinned the unfortunate happenings as purely a coincidence. They're saying it's purely a coincidence, right? It's just a coincidence that these things happen. As y'all can see here, on May 15, as Annabelle left Louisiana, her second tour stop, the historic 166-year-old Nottoway Plantation was destroyed in a blazing fire. We talked about that. Okay. They say they keep the legacy and name of Ed and Lorraine alive. I got to read all of this stuff before we get into the video content, because I want all this stuff documented before I get into the video content. It says that they devoted their lives to this work, that there are people out there who still dedicate their own lives to helping people who are having these experiences, Bill said. I get that. It's not that people just went in and saw a doll and they're like, oh, cool. We sat there and we talked to people. We talked about the dangers. We talked about the precautions. But the tour was not without its strange and creepy moments that fueled wild online speculation on Annabelle's ability to leave a path of destruction as she moved around the country. On May 15th, as Annabelle left Louisiana, her second tour stop, the historic 166-year-old Nottoway Plantation was destroyed in a blazing fire. Online speculation quickly turned to the doll's close presence as the reason the historic site went up in flames. But her caretakers are not convinced. Of course they're not convinced. Gillerin said, I don't know where these people come up with these. I mean, it's taken off. It's got a mind of its own. We don't think it has anything to do with us, of course, or Annabelle. Of course you're going to not think that. Now it says one post on X connected the dots on May 19th and wrote, 3 days ago, they moved Annabelle and one of the most haunted dolls on Road, Connecticut to New Orleans, Louisiana. And now the largest sugarcane plantation in Louisiana burned down and 11 inmates in a New Orleans prison escaped. As y'all can see, now this is a part of the so-called Annabelle team that's on tour. You got Avery Gillerin on the left. I guess the lady right here, because it's from left to right. So this is Avery Gillerin. This is Father Bob Bailey. This is Dan Rivera. This is Chris Gillerin. Okay, so I guess they're brother and sister. You can see the resemblance here. Talking about this guy here and this lady here. Avery, they must be brother and sister, what have you. Or husband and wife, or what have you. I guess they're brother and sister. We'll just leave it at that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I stand corrected if they're husband and wife or brother and sister. I'm not completely sure. But anyway, they're related. You have Caleb Reese right here. You have Ryan Beale. He's the guy that's on the TV show Paranormal State. And then you got Wade Kirkby. Okay. Now, let's go on. It says Didn't the Warrens say, let me highlight this. Didn't the Warrens say she should never be moved? The post concluded. This is what the Warrens said. The Warrens said, Ed and Lorraine Warren said that Annabelle should never be moved, not to go on a tour and be brought back, but to never be moved. It says another comment saying taking her down here where there's voodoo and spirits everywhere is actually an idiot move, I have to say, which is true. Y'all know about New Orleans. It says many other social media users worried about their own cities and even contacted those monitoring Annabelle. It says the amount of messages and emails that I received through our websites and social medias, they truly believe that Annabelle did all of this, which makes no sense to me personally. You know, why would she burn it down? Gillerin said. See, you don't know that. You don't know why Annabelle burnt that stuff down. You might not understand why she would do it, but there could be more that's going on to this story that we're unaware of. Okay? Gillerin said that he believed that the events were purely coincidental. Speaking to Bill, DailyMail.com pointed out the route Annabelle took as she left Louisiana. He examined the route. Now listen to this. It says that Bill, the guy that's over Paranormal State, examined the route through the state of Louisiana and said, this is the first time I've ever looked. Okay, yes, I can confirm we were within 5 miles of the plantation, the Nottoway plantation that burned down on the freeway. And yes, it was on the same day. So check this out. Ryan Bill confirms that they were within 5 miles. Annabelle was within 5 miles of the Nottoway plantation on the same day it burned down. He goes on to say, so I mean, yes, that is a very bizarre coincidence. This is a strange coincidence, y'all. Yet Bill said that there was an even stranger occurrence before they left Nolens. A voodoo priestess who challenged Annabelle. Now, I didn't really speak too much on this last time, but yes, there was a voodoo priestess who challenged Annabelle. Okay? This is the voodoo priestess who challenged Annabelle. We got to establish all of this before I get into the video content. Okay? And like I said, y'all have to excuse the ads that are popping up. Y'all know how it is. You be showing websites, you get rid of them. They just keep popping up anyway. It is what it is, right? Anyway, this is the voodoo priestess that apparently challenged Annabelle. And it says that apparently not everyone in Nolens is happy with Annabelle being here. Now listen, this voodoo priestess was like, I don't want Annabelle here. I just want y'all to clearly see. It says, we were packing up and all of a sudden, we heard tambourines and someone screaming, go to hell, Annabelle. She laid holy water down and said, in the name of New Orleans voodoo, I rebuke you. But I mean, there was the thought of, yikes, this priestess just challenged Annabelle, Bill said. And you know what happens when you try to challenge Annabelle. Okay. The guys here, this is Senior Lead Investigator Dan Rivera. This is Lead Investigator Chris Gillerin. This is the one who said he don't believe the stuff that happened in New Orleans got anything to do with Annabelle. Then you have the Warren son-in-law and Nesper co-director Tony Spira. He looked like the Warrens, kind of. And then you got Investigator Wade Kirby. So let's go on down a little bit. It says, we were like, wait, so we're being blamed for what? A plantation somewhere in Louisiana? Louisiana, okay. Well, probably coincidence, but I mean, I kind of thought, well, there was this voodoo priestess who challenged Annabelle when we were leaving, he recalled. We were packing up and all of a sudden we heard, well, I just read that. This part here in the article is quoting the same thing, right? Change up the music real quick. Hold on. I want to change it up. There we go. That's more like it. Yeah, baby. All right. Back to the article. It says, so Basically, Bill said, and so there was that creeping thought of what if, meaning this priestess, this voodoo priestess, challenged Annabelle. So it's like, well, what if? Theories that blame Annabelle for the fire and escaped inmates was just the tip of the iceberg of the strange goings during the doll's time on the road. And remember, Marie Laveau, which is a famed voodoo priestess in New Orleans, pretty much ran New Orleans, her place burned and caught on fire. And I covered all of that. Okay, there was sounds and all types of crazy stuff. So anyway, let me explain this. It says, to our knowledge, it's the first time we brought Annabelle to another haunted location, especially that far out, Bill said, of their first tour stop in West Virginia State Penitentiary, a famously haunted building. Now, this penitentiary, y'all, is known to be haunted. It's been shut down and it's known to be haunted. Ryan Bill says what was weird, and I've been to the penitentiary many, many times, when Annabelle was in the prison, the activity around the prison was low. Bill added that they had psychic mediums with them in the prison who said that other spirits were staying at a distance. Listen, y'all, they were staying away from this Annabelle doll. You got a known haunted location, and they're saying that other spirits are staying away from Annabelle. Come on now. It says Bill recalled how things got aggressive as they used a spirit box to communicate with Annabelle on tour, and said people would ask questions, who's here with us? A spirit box is like this thing right here. Y'all see this thing that says Marshall behind him? Y'all see this thing right here where I got the cursor? It says Marshall. That's like a spirit box. It's like a speaker with like radio stations, like FM radio stations or whatever, and words get spoken. Listen, y'all. How you gonna have? Let me come on the big screen real quick. You got known spirits in West Virginia. That penitentiary is known as haunted. Nobody goes near it. Nobody wants to have anything to do with it. The only people that go there are people, are these paranormal investigators or enthusiasts, if you want to call it. People that's crazy enough to go there, right? But nobody goes there. It's known to be haunted. Nobody wants to house it. Nobody wants to clean it. Nobody wants to maintain it. They like, I'm out. Okay? The spirits weren't even around when they had Annabelle in there during the tour. That's to tell you something, man. This is crazy. But anyway, let's go break this down because I got to get all of this out before we get to the actual video evidence. Okay? Because I got some video stuff that's conflicting here. So anyway, Bill said he recalled how things got aggressive as they used a spirit box to communicate with Annabelle on tour, and said people would ask questions, who's here with us? Is the entity around Annabelle here? Suddenly it started to turn to like, you be, I want your body. Y'all hear that? And this is the penitentiary that you can see behind Ryan Bill. Bill said that he had visited, like I said, the penitentiary numerous times before, but that Annabelle's presence had quieted the other spirit activity he had experienced before. You can see here, it says, while on tour, the team included psychic mediums as well as priests, including Father Bob Bailey, who helped bless the team and their equipment for protection against Annabelle's spirit. It goes on to say that the spirits are kind of just watching. A couple were saying they felt uneasy, Buell said. And this is what he said about what the other spirits were saying, I guess through the spirit box. They didn't know what that meant. Then when we took Annabelle out, we were wrapped up. Then the activity picked up. So as soon as Annabelle came out of the state penitentiary, all of a sudden the activity picked back up. It says, and the two employees who were there, who regularly witnessed the activity, they pulled me to the side and said, look, they don't like it that Annabelle is here. They don't like its energy, so they're hanging back. The employees that normally be around maintaining that state penitentiary, that haunted state penitentiary, Even they actually is like, hey man, I don't like that energy, man. They fell back. That should tell you something. It says after Annabelle had left, other activity picked up again. Bill recalled his previous experiences at the prison without Annabelle. Ryan Bill says you'll hear whispers, you'll hear footsteps, and then especially in the infirmary on the second floor. That place is so active, he said. You'll literally hear bangs if you say, hey, knock for me. You'll hear intelligent responses, knocking back. He described his experience within the infirmary as feeling like prey. He says, you're very well aware of the fact that you're being watched. You feel like something is literally following you, and you start to feel a sense of danger, he added, recalling that he heard bangs and the slamming of doors around him. Annabelle's presence at the penitentiary was not only felt by the spirits within the building, but also those who came in for the tour. It says, I started getting really intrusive thoughts, and Wade had to remind me that the demonic often use psychological tactics. Now listen, you see how it says that the demonic often use psychological tactics? This is the tactics that some of these satanic content creators who are trying to pose as righteous up here on YouTube use. They use a lot of psychological tactics. They use AI, they use fake information. They take words that we say and they chop it and they screw it like a politician running for office. That's what they do. They do a lot of stuff. They use a lot of psychological things. They take our talking points, try to act like it's their talking points. They flip stuff around. A lot of psychological games. They try to get others to join in to make it look like, well, something must be wrong with you. Something must actually be right about what they're saying. Look at all the people talking big bad about you. You see what I'm saying? Psychological war. That's the type of stuff that they do to a lot of y'all. You got them talking right now on YouTube. You got them making videos about me, about Ringo, about Rollo, about a lot of people. Because they're evil. They're demons. They want as many people to believe the lies and believe the deception so they can be under their control. And guess what? If you fall victim to believing the lies and the deception without doing your own research and you're asking God, the Most High, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to show you the truth, then guess what? You fall victim to their control and their spell. And it's the same way that these demons get control of people. Come on, man, let's go. I'm giving y'all the game. Now, it says that Ryan Bill says that he started getting really intrusive thoughts, and Wade had to remind him that the demonic often use psychological tactics. So we just doused ourselves in holy water and kept going, Bill said, of their first day with Annabelle. Okay? This is the cinematic version of Annabelle that you have on the screen. It's the one you'll see in the movies. Obviously, Disney didn't want to have anything to do with the actual Annabelle doll. Go figure. Or depicting the actual Annabelle doll. Now, it says that Bill recalled how things got aggressive as they used a spirit box to communicate with Annabelle, who inspired the Conjuring and Annabelle movie franchises. He said the process involves one person listening with noise-canceling headphones, only able to hear what's going on inside the box, while those outside ask questions. He says it's pulling from like public radio stations, right? The spirit box. It just randomly jumps from station to station and pulls sounds and voices from it, Bill said. People would ask questions. Who's here with us? Is the entity around Annabelle here? And suddenly the answer started to turn to like, you be, I want your body, and some other stuff. He says he remembers at one point he was like, okay, I'm done. This energy is getting a little too weird. And so we had another person do it, and then they got very emotional, he continued. That says, despite having worked with Annabelle many times before, Bill still found himself sensing a strange energy surrounding the doll. He says in New Orleans, himself and Wade, who is a member of Nesper, were mainly the ones giving the talks about the Warrens. And so we would have to stand in front of the Annabelle for hours. And the first day, Wade and I looked at each other and we were like, the energy is so off. It's like it feels so weird. And he totally agreed. This is Ed and Lorraine Warren. Okay. This is what you actually see. Uh, they were the ones who said, do not move the doll under any circumstances. Okay. They said, don't move the doll under any circumstances. Shout out to Corey Bennett for hitting the $2 super chat. I really appreciate you, Corey. You know, I'm giving y'all information and I'm covering stuff that a lot of people are afraid to cover. They're afraid to go there. They're not qualified to go there. They're not versed. They don't know what they're talking about. And so they have no reason to go there. But me, I understand this. I'm professionally trained. This is why I'm talking about this. And I'm showing you this in a safe and controlled environment. Now, let's continue with this article because I want to get to some video content. Okay. It says that Gillerin added, Annabelle is not a spectacle, but it's a great way to get people talking about evil. That's what Ed and Lorraine wanted to do. They wanted to expose the devil and tell people advice and advise people that the devil is real. Now, if the devil is real, that means that God is real. And if God and the devil is real, then that means you got demonic, satanic content creators here on YouTube. Now, you're going to have some content creators try to say that because I'm covering this topic that I'm demonic. But what I'm doing is exposing what's going on. I'm revealing to y'all what's going on. They're not. They don't want to reveal because these are a part of the entities and plays out of their book that they try to send to you all, that they try to send to me, that they send to other people. That's the type of stuff that they try to do. And I'm just revealing to y'all what's going on. Now let's continue this article. We almost there. We're going to get to the actual video content. Okay. Let's see. Let me go a little bit further. It says, but even when Annabelle's unnerving presence, her keepers defended the doll against the spiral of rumors that Annabelle had caused the chaos along their route. I mean, she was down in San Antonio, and I really haven't heard anything happening in San Antonio. But I told you what took place in San Antonio in my last live stream. And it never took place until Annabelle was there. Right? So they might be saying this because they didn't have these experiences, but the residents in these areas have had experiences. And I've already went into that in my previous Annabelle video. Y'all could go check that out. They're talking about it being on tour. Now, I want to get to one more article here. Okay, we're going to get to one more article and then we're going to get to some video content. Okay, let's take a look at this here. This asks, did Annabelle go missing or was she stolen in 2025? Experts reveal the doll's current location. Okay, I want you to hear some conflicting information here. It says on the 25th of May, rumors that the infamous haunted doll Annabelle had gone missing began circulating widely on social media. I talked about that earlier. It says the speculation erupted when attendees at a paranormal event in Louisiana noticed the doll was not a part of the expected exhibit. Okay, go figure. What does this say here? The speculation erupted when attendees at the paranormal event in Louisiana noticed the doll was not a part of the expected exhibit. Yet, that was supposed to be was a part of the expected exhibit. What's up, Rollo? What's up, Christina? Y'all gotta understand. Now, earlier, they said that the doll came back. And they brought the doll to Louisiana to be a part of the exhibit. So why is it that attendees here noticed that the doll was not a part of the exhibit? Where was the doll? What's going on? Why was the doll not a part of the exhibit? And why aren't there explanations given to that? Now, it says within hours, the hashtag Annabelle missing was trending, accompanied by conspiracy theories and escalating panic among supernatural enthusiasts. Okay? You got to think about this, man. I'm covering this for a reason because this type of stuff goes on, and this is serious. It says the claims were sparked during the Devils on the Run tour, a paranormal festival held in White Castle where Annabelle was reportedly meant to appear. Adding fuel to the fire, a blaze broke out at a nearby Nottoway plantation, further intensifying suspicion that something sinister was at play. Many users on TikTok and X began linking the two incidents, prompting a swift response from paranormal experts. Now, here we go. It says a viral panic meets a calm rebuttal. It says, amid the online storm, Dan Rivera, a lead investigator with the New England Society for Psychic Research, NESPR, stepped in to set the record straight. In a TikTok video posted later that day, Rivera showed footage of the real Annabelle doll locked safely behind her glass case at the Warren's Occult Museum in Monroe, Connecticut. Annabelle is not missing, he said plainly. She hasn't left. She's not in Louisiana or Chicago and definitely wasn't at the Nottoway plantation. His message was clear. The doll had not moved from her secure location and had not been scheduled to appear at the Louisiana in the first place. Now, I want y'all to understand that here we go. Somebody's telling a lie, okay? Somebody's lying here. Because we've been told that the Annabelle doll left the museum to go on tour. I'm about to get into some video footage about this. And I wanted to drop all of this evidence first before I start showing you the videos. Something's not making sense. Something's not adding up. Okay? Listen. Annabelle was supposed to be at a New Orleans tour location. All of a sudden, it's not there. People wondering it goes missing. All of a sudden, the same day that Annabelle is not at the Louisiana tour location, the Nottoway plantation catches on fire. All this other craziness goes on. Then they try to say Annabelle's not missing. They say that she hasn't left. Let me get this straight. Was Annabelle actually out on tour? But then you're saying that she never left? So how can we believe these guys? I mean, I'm telling you, man, it's fishy already to begin with. And you already know what these guys are in. So how can you trust them in the first place anyway? You already know what they deal with. There's already some credibility questions here. You have Dan Rivera, the lead investigator with the New England Society for Psychic Research. He's supposed to be the son-in-law of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And he says that Annabelle is not missing. He said plainly, she hasn't even left. She's not in Louisiana or Chicago, and she definitely wasn't at the Nottoway plantation. His message was clear. The doll had not moved from her secure location and had not been scheduled to appear at the Louisiana event in the first place. Now, something don't make sense here, because when we go to this, let me see, find this website and these videos. Let me see if I can pull this up. When you go to this particular website here, okay, this is the website that they tell you to go to, warrensconvention.com. You can clearly see that in July, Annabelle is supposed to be on that Devils on the Run tour in Gettysburg. Okay. Then you have in it's still Gettysburg. And then you have Rock Island, Illinois in October. Okay. Now, if we go back to this particular map, let me see if I can go find it. Hold on. If we go back to this particular map here, you see that Annabelle was actually on tour. See, this is what we're trying to figure out. Like, what's really going on here? Seriously, what is really going on? Is Annabelle actually on tour or is she not on tour? Like, what games are they playing with us? Come on now. Because when you look here, you see that Annabelle actually was in tour in New Orleans. But then you got Dan Rivera saying that Annabelle was not in tour. Something don't make sense. What's going on? Could Dan Rivera actually be covering for Annabelle? And that the attendees was actually right? Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. Give me 1 second, because now I want to show something else. Let's see if I can find something. Let's just start taking a look at some of these videos, man. I'm gonna pull something up real quick. Let's switch gears. Let's start getting into the video content, man. Because I'm telling you, something fishy's going on, man. Something don't make sense. Listen, yo, look what Christina said. Yo, Christina said, y'all, this is the night that her sister passed away, and it was a full moon that night as well. Y'all remember that? That was a full moon when all that was going on, when it was in New Orleans. So you had a full moon. Where was that full moon? Watch this. Take a look at this. You had a full moon, right? A full moon was going on. Listen, y'all, a lot of crazy stuff is going on. You got a full moon. Something is not adding up. So you got a full moon going on. Then when we look at this, during the full moon, listen, y'all, those folks can tap into the energy of the moon. The moon cycles every 3 to 5 days. They can tap into it. So you got the full moon on the 12th. Okay. Then you got this tour right here. Okay. This was the actual tour. May the 13th. So a day after the full moon, Annabelle's there. Then people are talking about Annabelle went missing. Then all of a sudden they talking about Annabelle's back. But then Annabelle, how could Annabelle be back in? See, something's not making sense, y'all. Y'all got to start peeping game. How could Annabelle be in Louisiana, then all of a sudden go missing in Louisiana, be back in Connecticut, but then all of a sudden show up like 2 days later in San Antonio, Texas? It don't make sense, man. It don't make sense, man. It don't make sense. And then you got Real Topics here. Christina is saying that this is the same night that her sister passed away. Come on, man. And y'all send y'all condolences to Christina. Me and Christina, we got something planned. We're gonna do that real soon. Y'all will see what it is. But this is crazy, man. Okay? Now, let's get into some video content here, because some don't make sense here, man. And I'm going to turn the music down. Something, I don't know, man. I don't trust. Listen, y'all, when I don't trust stuff, there's usually something going on. We may not know what it is. They're not revealing to us, but something is up. They're lying to us about something. I'm not buying what they're saying. I'm not buying this story at all. And something with this Annabelle case is wreaking havoc. But let's go ahead and get into some video content. Y'all let me know if the sound, as a matter of fact, let's do this. Want to make sure everything is working good. And I forgot, here's another opportunity for y'all to support. All right, let's go, man. This is crazy. All right, listen to this lady here.
Strange. There are rumors that Annabelle has gone missing. But before,
just make sure that the audio's working. It should, but I just want to get my confirmation on my end. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Okay, it's working. It's working. It's working. All right, let's run it back. Let's go.
when I is really strange. There are rumors that Annabelle has gone missing. But before we get into this topic, I'm Stephanie, and I talk about the scary, strange, and paranormal. So if you like this stuff, you come to the right place. So most of you know by now, Annabelle was on the Devils on the Run paranormal tour, and that had set all kinds of polarizing opinions. And panic ensued when one of the plantations in Louisiana started on fire, and I believe 10 prisoners escaped. And these events people thought were tied to Annabelle being in Louisiana. But anyways, recently people said that Annabelle has gone missing, and Dan from NSEPR addressed the rumors directly.
Is in the Warren's Occult Museum, and let's go inside and let's check Annabelle. Let's go inside and let's check Annabelle.
Dan from NSEPR addressed the rumors directly.
Is in the Warren's Occult Museum, and let's go inside and let's check Annabelle.
Now, again, how could Annabelle be back in the museum, but yet still supposed to have been on tour from Louisiana, and then all of a sudden make it back within a day or two? Mind you, they're not flying Annabelle. Annabelle is being traveled by vehicle. They're driving Annabelle. They're not flying Annabelle on no plane. So how could they make Annabelle get back to the museum, show that, and then come back? Like, what's going on? Something is not adding up. Y'all saw the dates with the Texas tour. Y'all see the dates with the Texas tour. Somebody make this make sense. May 13th through the 14th in Louisiana. They said Annabelle was already missing in Louisiana. Then you got May 17th to, it's supposed to be in Texas. Mind you, Annabelle got to arrive May 16th. Annabelle can't arrive on May 17th. They got to have Annabelle there and have stuff set up. So let me get this straight. Annabelle's there on May 13th. Somehow Annabelle disappears on May 14th. Makes it all the way back up to Connecticut. Okay, because this is what you see up here at the top. Makes it back up here to Connecticut, right? And then somehow leaves Connecticut on the road and makes it back to San Antonio by May the 17th or May the 16th. Nah, man, this ain't making sense, man. And why would they do that in the first place? Why would they take the doll back up there and then bring it back down? Something is not making sense here. Either we're being spoofed, either they lied about taking the real Annabelle out, and it's not the real Annabelle, but then we were told precautions needed to be taken while it was on tour. And so let me get into some other video content, because a lot of this stuff just doesn't make any sense, man. Something does not make any sense here, man. And I'm not trying to be funny. It just really don't make no sense, man. Let's get into some video content here, okay? Let me do this because I want to make sure that everything is working in terms of the audio. All right, so let's just take a look at this. And this is from Ryan Buell's actual TikTok. So this is, look at this, man. And that look like Dan Rivera right there and Ryan Buell. Y'all see this is French Quarter. They said Annabelle officially made it there in downtown French Quarter. It says that he says the energy is definitely different here. He says the Nesper guys invited me to carry her in. Not gonna lie, I was saying the Lord's Prayer the entire time. So if this ain't actually Annabelle, why was he saying the Lord's Prayer? He says, not gonna lie, I was saying the Lord's Prayer the entire time. So obviously Annabelle was taken down here, right? Let's look at some more videos. I want y'all to see this. I really want y'all to see this and understand this, man. This just don't make no sense, man. Hold on, I want y'all, let me see something here.
Hey guys, Ryan here. I'm in West Virginia State Penitentiary in Moundsville, West Virginia, here with Annabelle. We tried to do some lives last night, but the service signal here isn't so great. But I wanted to actually address a question I kept seeing in the chat, which is, why on earth are you guys moving Annabelle, and what would Ed and Lorraine think of this?
Now, he just said, why are we moving Annabelle? Right? I want you to understand this. He said, why are they moving Annabelle? You got to stop and think about this. But then yet, if you come over here and you take a look at this post right here that Dan Rivera said, he says Annabelle's not missing. He said it plainly. She hadn't even left. He's claiming that Annabelle never left Anne and Lorraine's museum. He said his message was clear. The doll had not moved from her secure location and had not been scheduled to appear at the Louisiana event in the first place. So either Ryan's lying, Dan is lying, somebody's lying about where Annabelle actually is. And I believe Annabelle was moved around. They just trying to cover tracks. Because how are you going to sit up here? How is Dan going to say that she never even left? He says she hasn't left. He said she never even left. Somebody make this make sense, man. Seriously, somebody make this make sense. But then when we come back to Ryan, he's answering the question about the doll being moved around. Again, listen.
Hey guys, Ryan here. I'm in West Virginia State Penitentiary in Moundsville, West Virginia, here with Annabelle. We tried to do some lives last night, but the service signal here isn't so great. But I wanted to actually address a question I kept seeing in the chat, which is, why on earth are you guys moving Annabelle, and what would Ed and Lorraine think of this? And I think there's some misconception there, misunderstanding, because Ed and Lorraine actually would travel around with the items from the museum, because they knew not everyone could come to Monroe, Connecticut to view the items. So back in the day, Ed and Lorraine would go to colleges and have like speaking events, and they would showcase some of the items. And then once a year for their Halloween event, they would actually bring Annabelle and some of the other items. The first time I actually met Annabelle was with Lorraine in Pennsylvania. Lorraine brought Annabelle to an event in eastern Pennsylvania so people could see the famous, infamous Annabelle. And they do this to educate the public on the dangers of the occult, talk about the case. And the reason why, Nesper, the group, still does this to this day is they want to carry on the legacy of Ed and Lorraine Warren. And two, since the Conjuring movies came out, they can't bring people to the actual house in the museum anymore because it's in a neighborhood. So, decades ago, Ed and Lorraine used to host little events at their house. But now with the huge public interest, that's why the Nesper family, the Warrens family, occasionally allow the items to come out. So that way people can view them, they can learn about the dangers of the occult, learn about the legacy of Ed and Lorraine Warren, learn about the work. So I hope that answers y'all's questions. We'll have more content later. Thank you.
So you hear what he said about taking the doll out. The doll has been out. Let's see. This is the one with the voodoo.
Go to hell, Annabelle. Go to hell, Annabelle. Don't you come to New Orleans for that no more. I put my holy water down on you. I rebuke you in the name of New Orleans voodoo, Annabelle. I rebuke you. I rebuke you. Go to hell, Annabelle. Go to hell, Annabelle. Don't you come to New Orleans for that no more. I put my holy water down on you. I rebuke you in the name of New Orleans voodoo, Annabelle. I rebuke you. I rebuke you. Go to hell.
And apparently that's the Bone Lady Voodoo Priestess of New Orleans. This is crazy, man. This is absolutely crazy, man. This is, yeah. They say she's the real deal. Everybody, like, she's known. This is the Bone Lady. She's the real deal. And they said if she's scared, somebody here said, she's the real deal. And if she's scared, I am too. That's crazy, man. This is wild, man. Let's check out a couple more videos because I want y'all to see this. There's something you clearly could tell that somebody's lying. Look what took place. Look. Oh, wait. Hold on. I can't play that because that's got the actual music. I gotta turn the audio off on that one. I forgot some of these, you know, they be having music, but that's Annabelle arriving in Texas. What is this?
Yo, you want to see something cool? No? Well, I'm gonna do it anyway.
Why they gotta have like the audio, man? Like, why they gotta have this audio? Because, you know, I can't be playing that audio. I mean, I hold on a second, man. Let me do it like this. Let me get this stuff pulled up. I just can't have that audio playing like that. Hold on. Let me see if this thing is worth viewing in the first place. I guess it's like showing the video stuff here. I mean, I'll play that because I got the audio muted. So let me bring it back up just because I got the audio muted. I don't want to be taking chances with no copyright and stuff like that. So, and let's go ahead and play it because y'all know how it is. So again, I guess it's all these people is actually there that actually went on a tour. Like I said, I'll just play the video. But like I said, the doll is supposed to be there. So, I mean, the doll was here in New Orleans. But then all of a sudden, the doll was missing in New Orleans. This is the whole reason why they sold the tickets for folks to come out and see. So, some ain't making sense, man. And then they said all of a sudden it's back at home. Let me show y'all one or two other videos.
Our help is in the name of the Lord, Lord who made heaven and earth. Lord, hear our...
Like, why would this need to be go on? Like, seriously, let's just listen, man. This is crazy. Like, if it wasn't the real doll, why would they bother doing all this?
Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth. Lord, hear our prayer, let our cry come unto you. I call upon the most precious blood of Jesus to cover every inch, every nook and cranny of this place. And in your name, Lord, I bind all of the artifacts in this museum so that none may touch, attack, or go home with any of the people today. In your holy name, we ask your divine Holy Spirit to shed its light upon us. In the name of the Holy Virgin and Saint Joseph, the terror of demons, we pray this in the name of Christ, the Lord God.
I think that's like some type of salt that they're sprinkling down, some type of white salt.
Good. Yeah.
They're basically forming a perimeter around her or around the demon.
Our help is in the name of the
This is crazy, man. Like I said, why would all that be done if it wasn't actually Annabelle there?
Hey everyone, Ryan here. I'm at the Psychic Fest in San Antonio, Texas. Not even actually inside, I'm in the parking lot where it's about to begin. But I just wanted to show y'all the line. This is the line for standby tickets to see
Dang.
Annabelle. It wraps all the way over there. We're already sold out, or Annabelle is already sold out. I think this 900 people signed up, sold out. This is all on standby behind me. There's going to be thousands of people here to see Annabelle. I've spoke to a few people. They have come from all over Texas. Some people came from out of state. Talked to a couple people in line. They've been here since like 7 a.m. in the morning. So we'll see what happens today. It's gonna be a busy, busy day. Lots of people want to see Annabelle. Thanks to TikTok. Who knew?
That's crazy, man. That all those people, thousands of people. Let me see. Oh, this is the video where Dan Rivera says she's back at home.
Hey guys, this is Dan. I'm here right at the museum right now. I just want to show you guys that Annabelle is in the Warren's Occult Museum. And let's go inside and let's check. All right, here we go. Around the corner. And who's there? Annabelle in the Warren's Occult Museum. Annabelle's not missing. She's not in Chicago. All right. We do plan on going to Rock Island Roadhouse Expo in Rock Island, Illinois on October 4th. If you guys want to get tickets for that, you guys go to warrensconvention.com. warrensconvention.com. And you guys will have a chance to see Annabelle. But she's not in Chicago. She never was in Chicago. And she's not missing because she's right behind me.
But see, here's the thing. Here's the thing, y'all. She was in New Orleans. I don't know where this Chicago came because that never came up on the map. I never saw anything about Chicago. You know what I'm curious about? I wonder how much these darn tickets are. Oh, they ain't that much. No wonder they were sold out. Well, that explains a lot why they were sold out. So look, them tickets don't cost much of nothing. No wonder they were sold out. No wonder they were sold out. Because I was wondering, I'm like, man, they sold out. All right, so if you click on the actual link, right, to let's just click on the link just so y'all can see what I'm talking about, why the tickets don't really cost that much. So when you click on the link, this is the page that you come to, and it looked like the tickets, it's like $5 general admission, then $55, I guess, to go to the museum. So I guess that's what you would have to pay. And then I guess all this other stuff is like extras. So it looked like maybe $60 tickets. I don't know, man. I just want to see how much this stuff costs. What's this other one cost? The other one here, what's this in October? Costs what? I guess $34, 44. No wonder it's so cheap. Like it's dang, look, they already are sold out. Look, weekend pass sold out, golden VIP $209. Whoa. These folks spending this kind of money on this stuff. Yo, look at this. The platinum. Oh, I guess that's because that's like their hotel, includes hotel accommodations. I guess that's not bad considering that's the hotel for Friday and Saturday night. But folks spending this kind of bread, this is crazy, man. This is wild, y'all. They spending this kind of money, man. This is crazy. Wow. I just wanted to click on it to see what kind of money they spending. This is crazy, man. These folks out here spending that kind of bread. But anyway, man, let's get back to these videos. Let me do it like this because I want to make sure there's no audio issues here. Man, they spending bread, man. They spending like a stack. I mean, I guess this is big business for people that's into that, man. They can have it, man. They can have it. They can have it. But you see how you said the doll is back, but where was I don't? It's too fishy, man. It don't make sense.
Hey guys, Ryan here. We're about to start day 2 of Annabelle being in New Orleans.
Now, he just said Annabelle is here on day 2 in New Orleans. The date of this is 5/14. So how could Annabelle be in New Orleans, but then you got attendees saying that she wasn't there, which sparked the so-called videos of like, hey, I came to see Annabelle. Annabelle wasn't there. Did she escape? Was she missing? All of a sudden, be safe. Dan Rivera's talking about she never left and she's so-called back in Connecticut. But then you had a tour where she was seen in Texas. You even got Ryan Bill having her in Texas. So is there 2 Annabelles? I mean, like, what in the world is going on? Something's going on. Like, is there 2 Annabelles? Look, when we go back to that other video, you can see more than one doll. Well, let's finish playing this one out.
She mostly behaved last night.
Did you hear what he said? He said she mostly behaved last night. Listen to what Ryan Bill said.
Hey guys, Ryan here. We're about to start day 2 of Annabelle being in New Orleans. She mostly behaved last night. Mostly behaved last night. She mostly behaved last night. She mostly behaved last night. She mostly behaved last night. We'll see how things go today. The tour is sold out, so I'm excited to meet everybody and then on to the next stop. Stay tuned. Hey guys.
He says she mostly behaved on the first day. And wasn't it during the first day that all that craziness was taking place? Y'all see what I'm talking about? Something don't make sense, man. And then look at this.
Hey guys.
That's your boy Dan Rivera right there.
Hey guys.
This is May the 19th. Look, this is dated May the 19th.
Driving through Louisiana on our way home. Annabelle, what do you have to say?
Somebody make this make sense. If she's heading back through Louisiana, how could she have been in Connecticut, then San Antonio? Like, you see what I'm saying? This don't make no sense, man.
We're driving through Louisiana on our way home. Annabelle, what do you have to say? Here we come. Hey guys, we're driving through Louisiana on our way home. Annabelle, what do you have to say?
This is crazy, man. This is absolutely crazy.
So I'm with Nesper, the team that Ed and Lorraine Warren from the Conjuring movies. It's the team that they founded. And even though Ed and Lorraine have passed, the team is still in operation. and we are bringing some of the items from the Warrens Museum down here to New Orleans.
Okay, so do you work with the Warrens? That's like impressive, like because they're so famous after the movies. After the movies, more famous than they were like before, right? So how was that experience to work with them?
So I got to work with Lorraine Warren, actually when I was in my 20s. She worked with me, and she was on my show, Paranormal State. She was like a mentor. She would literally go on investigations with me, be by our side, help us help other families around the country who are experiencing hauntings. She was the nicest woman I've ever met. Like, she would take phone calls at 2 a.m. if you called her. She had her number on her website, her private number, and she would talk to you. And if you had a haunting, she would do everything she could to help. So she was one of the kindest souls I'd ever known.
What made you go into this area of the paranormal stuff? Like, what was like when you get into this supernatural theme?
So like many people, I had an experience in my life. My experience happened when I was a kid. And back then, we didn't know about ghost hunters or paranormal investigators. So I wanted answers to the experiences that I had. So I started investigating at first to try to get those answers, but then later I saw that there were other people who needed help, who were having hauntings. So then I moved towards helping them, and I was very inspired by Ed and Lorraine Warren because that's what they did.
So tell me about this tour that you're bringing items, especially Annabelle. Like we saw in the movies, and we can see docs about it. Like, for example, that you have to bless these items like once in a month. Tell me a little bit about this, please.
So yeah, Annabelle, she lives up to the legend. She's a legend herself, and she lives up to that legend. She is in a case, and the case is blessed, and some of the Nesper guys can talk more about that too. And she stays in that case at all times. And I actually had an experience with Annabelle. The very first time I ever met her, we were actually doing a tour in Pennsylvania, and Lorraine brought Annabelle. And it was the first time I'd ever met her, or saw her. And as I'm looking at the doll, I'm like, oh, this is the doll everyone was making a fuss about. And as I said that out loud, her head just went down, and then it rose right back up. And I thought like this was like a trick or a prank. So I like turned around to be like, was this part of it? Everyone was gone. So I was like so freaked out that, and Lorraine and I were taking pictures with Annabelle, but in those first 20 pictures, I just had my head back like this. So I didn't want to have my back to her. So she's active, and that's why the Nesper guys have to bless the area that she's in on a regular basis. They have special gloves that they use. We brought a Catholic priest with us on this tour. And while she's out in public, the priest is there to regularly bless the area that she's in.
So what can people expect from this tour, and especially this in this location in New Orleans?
This is
Because
crazy, y'all.
New Orleans is like famous for their supernatural vibe too. So what can people expect when they come here this Tuesday and Wednesday?
Well, this is the first time Annabelle has ever been this far. She's never been out this far. So I'm curious to see what happens, what the energy is like with her coming down to the French Quarter.
Could it perhaps be Ryan saying he's never seen her out, she's never been out this far, and he's curious about what will happen with her energy in the French Quarters? Could it be that perhaps that's why we had the Nottoway plantation situation, and these 10 inmates escaped, and Marie Laveau's house catching on fire, and all this sounds and occurrences, and we had the FBA couple that I talked about earlier, right? Miss Alexis Lee and Mr. John J.R. Collins, they mysteriously both had a crash that they end up being unalive. Like, could it be the result of Annabelle being here? This is what we're breaking down here.
And as for what people can expect, they get to come see the items. In Nesper, they actually sit there and they are there the entire time, and they actually will educate people on the dangers of these items, on the dangers of the occult, because that's what Ed and Lorraine did. And so they're keeping the legacy alive of continuing that work. So they get to see the items, take pictures with the items because it's safe, and then learn about the cases, learn about the items.
Have you seen the movies of The Conjuring?
I have seen the movies of The Conjuring, yep.
And another one is coming, right?
And yep, I think another one's coming out in the fall.
Yeah, in September. What do you think about the movies? Like, do you think they're accurate to the Warriors? Because you met them, so what do you think about it?
So, I think they're great. They're awesome movies. I mean, they're obviously movies, right? They're based on a true story, so they take liberties. But I love them, and when I watch them, see, I'm a little biased because I knew Lorraine. So a lot of times when I watch the movies, I just get sentimental seeing how the actress plays Lorraine, and they really do the Warrens justice by, because I think the director said that at its core it's a love story, and Ed and Lorraine deeply loved each other.
And finally, I know that the museum that used to be in New England is not open anymore, right? So that's why you're doing this tour?
Yeah, so it used to be that Ed and Lorraine would host intimate gatherings at their house at the museum for people who were curious. They used to bring the items out a few times a year to educate the public, and have allow people the chance to see the items. Since the Conjuring movies came out, there's just no way. There's millions of people who would love to go to the house, but it's a house in the neighborhood. That's why the Nesper team, they will every so often bring these items out so that way the public can view them safely.
Okay, something else that you want to say to the people?
You guys should definitely come check it out. We don't know when Annabelle will ever be this far again. So please come see us, come say hi to Annabelle.
Okay, thank you, Ryan.
Of course.
So as y'all can see, this is proof that this is actual proof that she was taken out and not stuck. This is crazy, man. This is absolutely crazy. I just don't know if there's anything. I think that's pretty much. This is crazy. I guess we don't want to have that going. I guess that's just some random thing, whatever. But yeah, that's pretty much. I think we have covered what we need to hear. I don't know if I played this one, but let's just play it just in case.
Good morning, TikTokers. Ryan here. So I woke up and checked my Tiki-Taki and saw that there's all these messages and comments stating that Annabelle is missing, and that she was supposed to be somewhere, I think Chicago. I just want to put this out there. Annabelle is not missing. Annabelle is back home in the museum for now, and that there was never any scheduled tour plan for it to go to be shown in Chicago.
I think that was the big misconception, the location of Chicago. That never was on the map. I don't know where that came out, but at this tape, this particular video was 5/24, May the 24th. So this was after the fact, but this is crazy, man. This is crazy. It's definitely something going on, and this is real. These are real occurrences, and we need to be aware of these things. Why have I taken this extra time to show you that? Because these are real things. These are real situations that take place. People are dealing with these things, right? And you got a lot of people that's afraid to talk about these things. You literally have people that deal with these things. People, if it's not a doll or it's not Annabelle, it's some other type of thing, or maybe something they brought in or something they dealing with. People are really dealing with these things. And when you take a place like, I forgot what the movie was called not too long ago with, let me see if I can find it real quick. What was it called? Deliverance. Yeah, like the movie Deliverance. For those of y'all that didn't see, like I'll put that on the screen real quick. Let's see. Like the movie the Deliverance, right? that was showing how a lady and her family was dealing with something spiritual, and the church shied away from that. Right, a lot of people, they shied away from that. They was like, oh, we ain't helping you. They be like, just pray, just pray. And these are real things that people be dealing with, and people be putting stuff on people and getting them involved in situations you don't know. You might be coming over to somebody's house or visiting thing or riding in their car, being with somebody, and all of a sudden it's like some weird occurrences. And you like, am I tripping? Am I losing it? No, these are real things that be going on. These are real situations. So I wanted to take some time to show y'all that this stuff is real. It's nothing to be playing with. And yeah, you got content creators here, this even on YouTube, who claim that they righteous and claim that they this and this and that. But like I said, when the cameras go off, that's what they doing. That's what they dealing with. That's what they dapping it. And then they'll try to take my talking points and try to say, hey, when the cameras go off, this is what Brainwaves is dealing with, what he's dapping it. They'll literally take everything I say and project it and flip it around because they're evil. That's all they do. They'll literally psychoanalyze every word that I say and try to take it as if they are the ones who came up with it. Crazy, man. It's absolutely crazy. Let me get to the chat real quick. Christina says, and that God knows. Now he trying to blame the stupid wickedness from the doll. Was not wanted in the French quarters. Yeah. Waco says, I think you have to be a little sick and demon to even want to go and see it. I'll be there close to evil. I mean, the thing is, here's the thing. You got all types of people, right? So there's people that know, some people don't know. You can't assume that everybody knows, everyone's been told, exposed. It'd be a lot of stuff going on. It's a lot of combination. But you have the majority of people that entertain this type of stuff, right? And they're not educating you on it. See, there's a difference. Educating on you on how to avoid it, how to stay away, what not to deal with, right? You got people that will encourage you dealing with it, or people that don't believe it's real and they get into situations, man. You don't, it's just like people, right? You don't aggravate and agitate and instigate when it comes to people, right? So why would you do the same thing when it comes to spirits? Why would you go in instigating and aggravating a spirit, disturbing something just like you? Why would you be disrespectful to those things? Right? What'll happen with the person if you disrespect a person? You most likely gonna get met with that clap back. That person's gonna respond in kind. What's the same thing? And you got a lot of people fooling with stuff that they have no business fooling with. You all need to know about these things because, again, you could be invited to a place. You could be staying at a place. You got hotels. You got rooms. You got bed and breakfasts. You got people, maybe they cars, co-workers that you work with, all types of things. They dealing with demons. They on demon time. When you hear this saying about people being on demon time, this stuff is real. A lot of y'all work with co-workers that's on demon time. That literally got demons. They're possessed by demons. They're dealing with demons. And then what they do is they try to bring that as an attack to you. They try to get you set up on your job, try to get you fired, try to get you hurt, etc., etc. They be on demon time. Some of you are dating people that's like this. Some man you're interested in, ladies. Some lady you interested in, fellas. Some content creators that y'all following, they be on demon time. So I wanted to take this time to show you that this stuff is real. And like I said, if y'all don't know anything about this, y'all got to go watch the whole Annabelle, Conjuring, Nun, whatever series. Y'all got to go watch all of that and you'll understand. You'll see how it got involved with the church, and it's just crazy, man. You got to really understand about this stuff. This stuff is no joke. This stuff is no joke. And like I said, I will continue to cover topics as the Most High leads me to cover topics like this. Again, we paying attention to these details and what's going on. See, they couldn't keep the doll out for long. because it's already too much going on. And then people will start putting two and two together. It's like, wait a minute, this happened here, this happened here, this happened here. People will really be pinning that stuff on Annabelle. So they had to put Annabelle back so that you don't suspect that it's Annabelle. But Annabelle's coming back out, back in July and back in October. So we're going to have to pay attention in July in those spots. In October if some stuff goes down. But yeah, if y'all don't know, this is, let me show y'all real quick. These are the movies and stuff that y'all gotta actually check out to understand about this Annabelle doll. And that's like Ed and Lorraine that's in here. If y'all hadn't seen it, it'd be on, you might even find it here on YouTube, but it'd be on all those streaming platforms. As you can see, these are the part of the movies y'all gotta see. So it's this craziness here. This craziness here. With the dang nun movies, that dang demon Volok. This stuff is crazy, man. Some of y'all may have already seen this stuff. But those are the let's see, Annabelle movies. And then you got the actual Annabelle movie. So you got the Nun, you got the Conjuring, and you got the Annabelle. These are like the Annabelle movies. All this stuff, you'll understand how this stuff happened. Why is this doll attached with such a powerful demon? What's going on? And like I said, you got people that be doing stuff like this all the time. So y'all can check this stuff out in your own time. You'll understand why it's so prevalent. Maybe you'll understand why people even came out to see it. What would make people want to even come out and see these things? If you've seen the movies, if you understand this, maybe you'll figure it out. Like I said, to each his own. I ain't advocating. I ain't telling nobody to go see nothing. I'm just letting y'all know and showing y'all this is what's taking place out here. These are real occurrences in our society. I've seen all of these, so I know about all this stuff. It's crazy, man. It's literally off the chain. Off the chain. But hey, I pretty much covered this story. And I'm gonna say this to some people. Listen, some people, for example, they're not called to be able to explain these things or teach on these things or talk on these things, right? I am. That's what I'm talking about. It. Others are just doing stuff out of curiosity. And the reason why I bring awareness to these things is because this stuff is extremely dangerous. You got a lot of people that's already paid and bought for by the devil. They're done. They're hell-bound. And their job is to take as many of y'all out in the process. You got some of them right here on YouTube. I've been talking about this. Some of them are right here on YouTube. And by any means necessary, they will resort to anything. They don't care if they lie on your name. They don't care if they make something up. They don't care if they set you up, set somebody up that you associate with. They don't care. That's what they're going to do. That's what they'll do by any means necessary to try to take you out or take out your ability to fulfill God's purpose for your life, or whatever it is for you to work on your job or go to school or live in your neighborhood or be with a man, be with a woman, whatever, have a family. The list goes on and on, right? For you to do what you're supposed to do. By any means necessary, they'll try to derail it. They'll try to take it out. Why? Because they're already hellbound. They're already done. They ain't got nothing to lose. They're just a pawn in the grand scheme of things. So I'm trying to let you all be aware of these things and figure out how real this stuff is. Because if this is real, it means that God is real. You understand? It means that the Most High is real. The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is real. If Annabelle is real, then God obviously has to be real. And so it gives people that ability to make that choice and choose the path of righteousness, hopefully. Some people are going to say, hey, that's not for me. They're going to do what they're going to do. Hey, that's on that person. You can say a prayer for that person and just keep it moving. Deal with it accordingly. But hey, we covered this. We talked about this. I broke it down. I went on just a little bit longer than I planned on being on, but hey, it is what it is. We got a lot of information all in this one particular stream, a lot of clips, a lot of video, a lot of detailed accountings of things that took place. So according to me, according to what we can see, according to all the information we gather, somebody's lying about something. Either Dan Rivera is lying about Annabelle not being in New Orleans for the second day, but then being back in Connecticut. And I don't think it's Ryan, because just look based upon the videos and what we seeing, I don't know, man. They all could be lying. There ain't no telling. But something is definitely mysterious and is definitely up, and it sounds spiritually wicked. This is literally the makings of spiritually wicked behavior. And I want you all to see this and know this from somebody who's a professional and someone that the Most High has called and qualified to speak on these things, who's not afraid to speak on these things. Look, you got content creators who act like they call themselves warriors of the Most High, but then they cowards when it comes to talk about subjects like this. They're scared. How you gonna call yourself a warrior of the Most High, but then you scared to talk about subjects like this? That means you ain't no warrior. That means you're a coward. You're a counterfeit. You're a Judas. You're a betrayer. You got a lot of people perpetrating. Just calling it like it is. And some of those same people be the main ones there to set you up and try to stop you. One of the main reasons why they try to shut me up is because they know that I'm qualified to talk on these things. I can go there. I can talk on these things. I can give y'all an education lesson. Y'all put a 5 in the chat if you learned something tonight that you didn't know about how this spiritual stuff works. Put a 5 in the chat. If you gain any type of knowledge and understanding on how some of this spiritual stuff works. Put a 5 in the chat if you learned something. Let's see who learned something. See, my job is to get you to think. My job is to teach you, for you to learn, etc., etc., etc. Some of y'all got people that might be dealing with stuff spiritually, and you weren't quite sure what it is. You didn't know what it is, right? Some of you got coworkers dealing with stuff, family members, friends. You've been to people's homes. You've been to people's places. You're like, it's something weird going on. You thought maybe you was tripping. You're like, am I tripping? This don't make sense. I saw this one thing and then the next thing, or the energy felt real. It felt off. Congratulations. Now you understand what it may look like or what it may feel like with demonic activity. Some of you particularly were looking at Annabelle. Some of you were watching this stream, and certain parts might have made you feel awkward or feel weird or feel strange. Congratulations. Now you can recognize that feeling when somebody got a demon in them. When a content creator who might act like they talking about scriptures and quoting this and quoting that, but they really full of demons. They got demons circling around them. You get that same weird feeling that you got when you saw with this whole Annabelle live stream. You get that when you watch them. You get that when you look at them. That's because they got demons in them. You get that from other people. Maybe some men that you're dealing with, ladies. Some ladies that you're dealing with, men. I'm trying to teach y'all. I'm trying to give y'all game. It's a method to the madness on why I covered all of this and broke this stuff down. Not only are we getting down to the story and figuring out why is Annabelle missing and what's going on and the story's not adding up. Somebody's covering and telling lies. You also understand a little bit about spiritual warfare. And now you can be armed with that wisdom and armed with that knowledge on how to protect yourself, or how to protect a loved one, or how to pick up the phone and tell them or give them a visit. Or perhaps maybe you do need to pray for that person or those persons. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I do see some 5s in the chat. Let me get just a few of them on the screen. So that means that some people have learned something. And this is why I cover these topics, because I'm not scared to do it. I'm not afraid to do it, because the Most High is not giving us the spirit of fear. Anybody who act like they're afraid to talk about this, but they roll with God, they ain't really rolling with God, because they scared. They not a warrior of God, a warrior of Christ like they claim they are. It's crazy, man. So, hey, I said what I needed to say. I appreciate y'all's support. Shout out to everybody who supported. Shout out to everybody who's been viewing. I'm sure this has been interesting dialogue. Feel free to share this with your family members, your friends, your coworkers, what have you. Share the content. Use my videos as a talking point for people. Let me do the talking, and then y'all can just react. See what I'm saying? It might change somebody's life for the better, for the Most High. So, hey, say what I needed to say, y'all. I'm getting out of here. Appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, and share. Like I said, I'll catch y'all in the next one. Until then.